Welcome back to New Year's Game Picks, ladies and gentlemen. It's finally playoff time. We're here. Little leave of absence for Week 18. Obviously, the playoff stage is set. A quick recap from Week 17. We had an overall record of 175 and 81 for the whole season. 13 and 3 from Week 17. The 3 games I got wrong. I had the Colts over Giants. The Giants beat the Colts and beat themselves out of getting the number 1 overall pick. I had the Titans over the Jaguars. The Jaguars beat the Titans, and the Titans actually got the number 1 overall pick. And then I had the Cowboys lost to the Eagles pretty bad. I thought that was going to be an upset. I was wrong. Wildcard weekend, super wildcard weekend is right around the corner. Let's take a look at the playoff matchups. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So if your team's still in it, obviously one more week of football, but 6 teams get eliminated after this weekend. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. Saturday at 3:30 Eastern, we have the Chargers at the Texans. Texans hosting a home playoff game. They were home last year. They hosted a game. They won, and they lost in the next round to the Ravens. Texans have been limping into the playoffs. ACL injuries for Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell. Nico Collins is back though, but their offensive line has kind of been scattered. CJ Stroud has been sacked 52 times in the season, and a Chargers team that just got back. J.K. Dobbins. Excuse me, guys. J.K. Dobbins just returned off of the injury for the Chargers. They've been running the ball physical. Justin Herbert committing very few turnovers and is very efficient. They've been pretty good in the red zone, and they have a top 5 defense. And when it's playoffs, you definitely want to have a better defense than to have a explosive offense. Obviously, if you have both, that's a great thing too. But a very good defense can get you a long way in the playoffs if you're able to, keep the team from scoring points. I mean, you just got to score, and you can score 13 points. If you keep the team from scoring more than that, then you win the game, right? So I think the Chargers on the road here, very favorable matchup. I think Jim Harbaugh got this team, had some rough patches in the middle of the season. Got Lad McConkey, 1,000-yard receiver, and Quentin Johnson, second-year receiver, who has struggled mightily with drops, has actually finished the year on a pretty decent stat line. 8 touchdowns over 700 yards, as he's been targeted more frequently in these last couple of weeks. And Chargers definitely want to come out here and lay the wood, considering they could advance and go play a division rival in the Chiefs in the next round, as they would have met them 3 times on the season. Hard to beat a team twice, yet alone 3 times in 1 year. So I do think the Chargers beat the Texans in Houston. I think they win with a score of 27-20. Moving on, later that day, on Saturday, we have the Steelers at the Ravens. Be the third matchup between these 2 teams. The Steelers in Baltimore lost by double-digit points. Early in the year, the Steelers hosted the Ravens, and they beat the Ravens. But a lot of things that, with this matchup, the team that loses usually beat themselves. And I would say that was the case for the Ravens, as their defense was definitely beaten. They were beating themselves a lot early in the year. Defense was giving up a lot of yards. Apparently, they made a switch where they moved Kyle Hamilton to free safety, and then having Marlon Humphrey as like a slot corner, like a nickel, and it's worked very good. Marlon Humphrey's a very physical receiver, a physical defensive back, and this front 7 of the Ravens have not lost a step. They don't really allow teams to run on them late in the game at all. And this is something where the Steelers, if they can't get the run game established with Najee Harris and Jalen Warren, it's going to be a long evening for them. And especially with George Pickens and Russell Wilson kind of not in sync, or George Pickens not being in sync with nobody on the offense, it's going to be a hard thing to do, especially going against this very tough, more improved, playing well over the last couple of weeks of the season Ravens defense. So I think the Ravens here take care of business at home. Lamar Jackson honestly probably deserves to be the MVP of the league, along with Josh Allen. I think it could be one of those 2 players. Take them off the team. I don't think the team is nearly as good. You could argue Josh Allen, take them off the Bills. They're not near as good as how the Ravens would have been if you take Lamar off the Ravens. But I think the Ravens and Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, so many things you need to stop. Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers, first Pro Bowl receiver in Ravens history in their 29-year existence. I think the Ravens win here, win convincingly. And I believe the Steelers haven't won a playoff game since 2016. I think their drought continues, and it might raise some questions around this coaching staff and the future of the Steelers organization, as they got to look to. They're going to be in a position to who they want to keep as quarterback, whether that's Justin Fields or Russell Wilson. So I think the Ravens win here with a score of 30-10. Now Sunday's slate of games, it's the final wild card matchup of the AFC first before the 3 NFC matchups are being played. And that's going to be the Broncos at the Bills. This is a very intriguing matchup. Last year, when the Broncos had Russell Wilson at the helm, they beat Buffalo in Buffalo. Cortland Sutton had himself a day, and he's coming into this year, in my opinion, a Pro Bowl snub. 80 catches, 1,000 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Very solid, efficient, and playing on a team that's led by a rookie quarterback, Sean Payton, back in the playoffs. First time Sean Payton's been in the playoffs since 2020, I believe, maybe 2018, not quite sure. But as a member of the Saints, this is going to be a very intriguing matchup. Vance Joseph and this Broncos defense is top 3 in total yards allowed, and obviously they beat the Chiefs 38-0 week 18. I didn't cover that week. And early in the year, they had a chance to beat the Chiefs. I think it was week 9 with a field goal, but it was blocked. Just like the Chargers over the Texans, if the Broncos upset the Bills, they would play the Chiefs in the next round of the playoffs. I don't see any of the. I don't see why the Chargers or the Broncos would not want to play the Chiefs a third time in Arrowhead, or second time in Arrowhead, but third time for the whole season. I think these teams would have the good chance. But unfortunately, the Bills are that team. I think at home, their defense, at home in particular, their defense is going to be loud. The Broncos are going to be prepared. I know the Broncos will be prepared to play. Their defense is going to be prepared to play, but it's going to be very hard to stop this Bills team, especially at home. I think the defense bends, but it doesn't break. I think Josh Allen makes 1 or 2 more plays with his feet and outside the pocket than Bo Nix. I think both quarterbacks play pretty mistake-free. I believe that, as Josh Allen has been a huge improvement from turning the ball over a lot in 2023 to minimizing those a ton in 2024. I think he makes a little bit more plays than Nix here, enough to where the Bills come out on top, and I think it's going to be close. I think the Bills beat the Broncos with a score of 23-20, advancing the Bills into the next round of the playoffs. Packers at the Eagles. This was the first game of the year for both teams in week 1. They played in Brazil. There was that whole thing about the field being so slippery. This time is in Lincoln Financial. It's in Philadelphia. The Packers, remember in 2010, the Packers beat the Eagles when Michael Vick was starting. And that was their first win that jump-started their Super Bowl run. They beat the Eagles, then they beat the Falcons in the divisional round, won the NFC Championship against Chicago, and then won the Super Bowl against the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers' last hurrah, you can say, and the Packers. But the Packers here draw a tough card, matched up against the Eagles. The Eagles team, I was mentioning Vance Joseph for the Broncos, but Vic Fangio for the Eagles has done a tremendous job. Obviously, the front office drafting the right players, young DBs, bringing in free agents that were probably not getting as much shine as they were in other teams. Someone like Zach Bond having an All-Pro season. I believe he's a Pro Bowler. I'm not sure if the All-Pro selections have come out yet. But this is still a tremendously hard defense to run against, which the Packers will run the ball. They're going to test them with their tight ends, play action. And their receivers need to be reliable, because this secondary is going to let you feel. They will let you feel their presence. Put it like that. As T.J. Gardner-Johnson, Reed Blankenship, Cooper DeJean are hard-hitting DBs. Along with the veteran playmaker, ballhawk is like Darius Slay, who is looking for his chance to finally get back to a Super Bowl. So a lot here at stake. I think the Packers have a great team, but it's just going to be it's a hard draw against the Eagles team, who I think is playing their best ball. Jalen Hurts has been out with a concussion the past few weeks, but their backup quarterbacks have looked just as good. This offensive line is arguably top 2 offensive line in the whole NFL. So this is going to be a hard task for the Packers, as this front seven can hold up, but it's going to be a long game if they can't get the Eagles off the field on offense, and they have to eat clock. Like, you have to win the time of possession, especially when you're on the road. If that could give them a chance, I don't see them doing that here. And I think Jordan Love falls short in his third career playoff start. I think the Eagles win a score of 29-17. Commanders at the Buccaneers. This is my upset alert of the week. I'll have the upset alert again for the divisional round, but after that, I'm not going to have it in because of the conference championship and the Super Bowl. Maybe for the conference championship, we'll see on that end. I know I'll have it next week, but this is my upset because these two teams met in 2020 when the Buccaneers was led by Tom Brady, and the Commanders almost upset Tom Brady and the Bucs. The Buccaneers were home, the Washington football team at the time. The Commanders were home. So unlike this time, the Commanders were home because they were a 7-9 winner of the NFC East that year. And the Buccaneers, the Commanders gave them a fight. And one thing to notice in this one is that Commanders traded for Marshawn Lattimore, who was a longtime player of the Saints prior to that. And and as a player of the Saints in the Buccaneers division, he played Mike Evans head to head twice a year. And you can argue one corner that's gotten the best of Mike Evans in his so far Hall of Fame career. He got another 1,000-yard season, extending his streak to 11 seasons in a row. Only Jerry Rice has ever done that. But Marshawn Lattimore has constantly given him fits. And there's even an incident where Mike Evans cheap shot at him in the back. So there's a lot of history here between these two players. Marshawn Lattimore was inactive last week against the Cowboys in their Week 18 matchup, resting him for obvious reasons. He's going to be following Mike Evans all game. And I think this is a great idea. I think he's fully capable. It's that piece. The Commanders' defense flies to the ball. They're playing organized. You can say they're like a defensive misfits, free agents from other teams. And Dan Quinn got them playing hard. And this offense, led by the rookie Jaden Daniels, kind of reminds you of the 2012 Redskins or Commanders, where they had RG3 running the triple option. And, this college spread options scheme, kind of like the Cliff Kingsbury, the offensive coordinator, has enforced. I think the Buccaneers also have a bend not break mentality. Obviously, Todd Bowles, leader on this defense, Vita Vea and Levante David have so much playoff experience. I would expect the Bucs to neutralize Jaden Daniels, but I can see him making some plays outside the pocket here. You got a veteran running back in Austin Eckler. You got a veteran receiver in Terry McLaurin, who doesn't quit, although he might get shut out for a whole half, but he's going to play and run his routes as hard as he can for the rest of the game, no matter what, if his play is going towards him or away from him. So this is a game I think you can for sure say that is going to be close. I think the thing that makes me pick the Commanders in an upset is because I think Baker Mayfield is prone to one or two turnovers that are him either forcing the ball or trying to do too much, as the Buccaneers have lost game like this despite their very hot streak coming into the postseason. So I think this is the upset of the week. I think the Commanders on the road beat the Buccaneers and score 24-19. Vikings at the Rams. This is Monday night, the last Monday night football game. This is super wild card weekend. It's only been like this since 2021, I believe, where it's 12 teams play on wild card weekend and only 2 teams have the bye. Vikings at Rams, they play each other. This is the second time they've played all year. The Rams upset the Vikings early in the season in Los Angeles. This game is also in Los Angeles. The Rams haven't looked the prettiest on offense at all coming into this postseason. They've kind of limped in. Matthew Stafford has kind of underperformed, just been like a game manager. Puka Nacua has been their biggest threat as Cooper Kupp is starting to show his age a little bit. Kind of slowed down his step. Not really that high volume pass target, reception target as he used to be in his Triple Crown year. But it's going to be a big challenge. They've got Tyler Higbee back. They run the ball hard with Kyron Williams. As I would say, he was snubbed of a Pro Bowl. And then you got the Vikings on the flip side. Cam Akers back in Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones with his playoff experience. Sam Darnold didn't look good in their Week 18 matchup against the Lions. And with the Vikings win, they will meet the Lions in the next round to get shot at it again. The Lions beat them twice in the regular season, so their third matchup might be different. Hard to beat a team twice, let alone 3 times in one season. But this Rams team will put up a big fight. I think they're fully capable of being competitive in this game. I think this goes back and forth. The Rams defense is young, upcoming, and playing very fast, flying around the field. The Vikings defense, obviously Brian Flores has this team playing well, but their offense can't keep their defense out there too long. They have to give them rest. They have to give them breaks. Otherwise, the Rams are fully capable of running all over this defense if the Rams can't convert in the red zone, if the Vikings can't convert in the red zone or on third downs. So let's be looking for that. This Rams secondary against this Vikings pass attack is going to be the key matchup here. As the running games, these two teams will stay committed to the run, but the front sevens are not going to give up a lot until the fourth quarter. We'll see how this goes. I do think the Vikings get the win here in LA, score of 31-25. That wraps up NFL Super Wildcard Weekend. Obviously, it's playoff time. It's almost a Super Bowl. 2 teams on byes: the Lions and the Chiefs. The two teams that opened up the 2023 season last year in Kansas City. So with those teams playing, the divisional round matchups will be set after Monday night between Vikings and Rams. As for right now, Natorade out, and enjoy your first round of playoff football, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.